Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube page, and we discuss a variety of psychological topics on a regular basis, and we do that almost daily in an audio format. Please feel free to reach out if there's something we can do for you today. We're going to talk about signs you're in a controlling relationship. Control is unfortunate, but it happens to many people. Many individuals use relationships as a way to feel in control of their life, and they also misunderstand what loving relationships actually are, and so it can lead to controlling behavior. And so we'll run through those really quickly. The first is isolation. Isolation happens when a person has the misnomer that not having an individual life outside of the primary romantic relationship is a sign of loyalty and or level of love. And this happens usually because a person has unhealed trauma related to a previous relationship or series thereof. And so that person begins to isolate their partner so as to avoid the potential for loss in any way. Next is the use of guilt and accusation as a control mechanism. If a person feels guilty, they're more likely to be compliant. If a person feels that they've done something wrong to another person, they're going to make an act of contrition most times, and usually that gives way to an act of submission. So a person who wants control in a situation will make one feel guilty for things they said, things they did, things they might do, or even looking at another person. Unfortunately, especially in Western society, we've given ways to the idea that our partner is ours forever, regardless of their free will and regardless of the evolution of their desires and goals and dreams and whatever. And so what happens is there's this false sense of duty outside of independent thinking, which people often use to control others. A controlling person becomes hypercritical. This happens when there are criticisms given. Well, if you lost 10 pounds, you'd be attractive. Well, if you worked harder, you'd be more valuable. And usually it's if you did A, then you'd get B from me. That level of control usually forces people into situations that they often feel overwhelmed by, or they make body alterations, mind alteration, opinion alteration, just to keep the relationship. This progresses over several months or years into a person not having independent thought or having less independent thought than they normally would. This is usually accomplished through the use of charisma or fake charm. Now, people can be charming and mean well, but also people can use a person's desire to be the center of attention or to be charmed and treated well as a way to create a sense of security for that individual. In other words, if you believe a person has your best interest at heart, even if they haven't shown the skills to follow through, you're going to believe in what you see and not in the reality that's in front of you. So oftentimes charm and manipulation can be used in order to create a sense of false security for a person who is maybe trying to control the situation because they don't have the skills or the desire to make the relationship work equitably. The next in this line is the idea that the emotions associated with an abusive relationship are the seesaw pattern. Usually this pattern goes something like charm and flattery, followed by manipulation and control, followed then by, if the control is heated, reward. If the control is not heated, then it's threat or ultimatum. Then, if the ultimatum is actually followed through and a person breaks up or threatens to break up, then right back into the charm to draw a person back in. It's a cycle, which means the emotions associated with the cycle follow a cycle in and of themselves. If you find that you are constantly dealing with emotions and you never know what's coming next, chances are you're in a controlled relationship. The next idea here is threats: verbal, physical, withholding of affection, silent treatment. All of these are threats for compliance. The idea here is simply that if a person is non-compliant, you can use threats as leverage to get them to become compliant, and usually this has to do with the conditional nature of love. So if a person unconditionally loves another person, their actions, while a person may have preferences, they do not have expectations, wherein expectations are tied with love, we then see the ability to control a person. The end goal in all of this is to brainwash a person away from having their own opinions, thoughts, ideas that differ from that of the controlling partner. Now, this usually takes somewhere between 6 months to multiple years, but it happens that many victims of abuse on an emotional and mental level don't realize that they've gone through it because it's slow, it's subtle, and it's conditional over an elongated length of time, and many people have to be leaving a situation to ever realize how negatively affected they were. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. I encourage you to get help, as I do help with relationship recovery and post-relationship recovery for folks. So if I can be of help, send a message here on YouTube, in the inbox, or on Twitter at POPerception, and we can set up a session to have a conversation. In any event, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.